Time to talk a little BYU basketball. Big one tonight, exhibition. It is the first exhibition for North Carolina, the final exhibition for BYU basketball, and it is a top 25 matchup. And to discuss that and more, we bring in former BYU big man, Eric Mika. Eric, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here, especially because Jerem is not here. I love the guy, but I don't know. Just we haven't been vibing recently, and so it's a good day to be here for me. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Well, is it a good day for BYU basketball? This is an unbelievable matchup. The fact that it's an exhibition matchup, it doesn't matter. It's BYU, it's North Carolina, two top 25 teams. What do you expect to see tonight from the Cougars?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much, more real we approach this game versus the last one against Nebraska. I actually had Marcus Page, who played at North Carolina. We played together in Serbia. He's on their staff. I'm going to see him in like an hour. I'm going to get as much intel as I can from him. But, we were chatting about it on my podcast the other night, and it's kind of funny because it's like exhibition, but there's cameras and there's stats and there's highlights and there's all these things that, to me, an exhibition should be behind closed doors so coaches can actually work on what they need to work on and figure out what they need to adjust to get ready for the season without the whole world knowing, right? So I am curious to see how much we actually show. I don't think we showed a ton in that Nebraska game. The important thing is that we're getting reps against other really talented guys, right? Like, it might not be in our exact system. It might not be exactly how we're going to start opening night. But I just think it's good to have somewhat of a measuring stick, and what better team than, a historic powerhouse like North Carolina. I mean, it's pretty cool. It also just speaks to this era that we're in. It's like, yeah, exhibition against North Carolina, first game against Villanova, top 25 preseason ranking, top 10, I should say, preseason ranking. Like, that's just how it is. It's pretty cool.
Eric, I got multiple text messages of panic after BYU lost at Nebraska, and my initial reaction was, just calm down, everyone, calm down. It's going to be okay. I know that BYU lost by a point, but if you could offer your opinion into whether or not you panicked a little bit, specifically about the three-point defense and a few other things. Like, how were you feeling after that first exhibition? Because for me, I didn't think it was a big deal at all that BYU lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I told my buddies. I would have preferred to win, obviously. You don't want to lose any game, any scrimmage, anything, right, when you're ranked so highly. But I'm on the same page as you, Spence. Like, it's just early, right? And we didn't show everything. We didn't even play some of our guys in the second half, right? Like, my opinion and why I feel so confident about, yes, this team, but also just KY's system and his staff and the way that he does things, is because last year they made big time adjustments and they were fine, right? Like, I think March favors the team that really starts to figure it out in January and peak in February, like we did last year, right? So, we could lose this one tonight. We could start slow, preseason. We could be middle of the pack, Big 12. Like, it doesn't actually matter until it matters, right? Like, as long as we are getting better and we're making the right adjustments so that at the right time, we're winning games that we need to. That's all I care about. Not to say, hey, let's go 0-20 before, February, right? But I do think we're going to have to give this team some time because they didn't have a full summer together. Not everybody was in town. Not everybody was healthy. Not everybody was even signed to the team. So fans just, they have to trust in this staff. The staff knows what they're doing. They did a terrific job right out of the gate in year one, which is really, really hard to do. So, I'm going to be cautiously patient, right?
All right, Eric, we wanted to talk basketball, but you're also going to be our guest picker on the Big 12 Pick'em segment. So we do want to give
your guys' mistake, by the way. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So first off, let's go ahead and go over the standings on the other guys that you're picking against to kind of see how they've done. Tanner Mangum still in the lead. Best record at 6-1. Look at that. Dennis Pitta, 5-2. Tavernari, 5-2. Philip Bowen, 4-3. Tyler Batty, 3-4. Lem Harrington, 3-4. and then former quarterback Jaron Hall at 2 and 4. So here's how this is going to work. Obviously, Jerem is not here. I'm not going to pick. I'm just going to announce Jerem's picks. He's already made them. If it just so happens that what I say and what he's picked matches up, then I guess it's a win-win for Jerem. But Eric, you will pick first, followed by Spencer, and then I'll give Jerem's pick. So, game number 1. Colorado coming off a bye week, traveling to Salt Lake City to play Utah, who might be without Devin Dampier. Who wins, Eric?
First of all, Jerem's in Legoland, right? We established that.
I'm not sure.
I'm just kidding. Listen, now that you throw the graphic up showing who I'm going against and you're keeping track, it changes because some of my picks were out of spite. So I'm going to be a little bit smarter here. This one is not out of spite. Everyone's going to say this is out of spite, but I just think coming off the bye week, I think Utah coming off a deflating loss, like there's so much hype going into that game, so many emotions, and the way it finished, and, you know, with Dampier as a question mark, I'm going to say I'm taking Colorado.
Okay, Colorado.
Listen, the only prayer that Colorado has is if Devin Dampier does not play at quarterback for Utah. But I still think the Utes will figure it out. They're too well coached. They're angry after losing to BYU, and they're back home. Give me Utah.
All right, Jerem from Legoland picks Utah as well. Okay, game 2. TCU heads to Morgantown to take on West Virginia. Eric, who you got?
I'm going TCU. I think West Virginia's just having a tough year. Even though it's on the road for TCU, I think they're a pretty solid team. I think they're getting that one done.
I'm not sure how to do the weird horned frog thing, but yeah, give me TCU. Let's go.
All right. Jerem's going to make it the sweep for TCU. He also takes the Horned Frogs. Game 3, Sawyer Robertson and Baylor taking on Brendan Sorsby and the very surprising Cincinnati Bearcats. Eric.
I'm going with Baylor. I'm just going to go against the grain here. I don't think that their, season has been reflected in an appropriate way by their schedule. I think they're better than people probably give them credit for. And maybe this isn't spite, but this is maybe some hopeful optimism that we can just get a little bit even more of a cushion on a team like Cincinnati. So I'm going to go Baylor.
I'm with Eric. Give me the Baylor Bears and probably the best quarterback in the Big 12 Conference, Sawyer Robertson. I just think they straight up outscore Cincinnati. Might be a high-scoring game. I think Baylor scores one more time than Cincinnati does on the road at the 3.5-point underdog.
Okay, Jerem is going with the Bearcats. Jerem takes Cincinnati. All right, game number 4, the Sunflower Showdown. Kansas State and Kansas. The game is in Lawrence. Eric, who you got?
Yeah, this one was tough. I think rivalry games, in-state rivalry games, there's so much to unpack. For me, it was almost 6s. I flip-flopped a little bit, but I'm going to give the edge to Kansas being at home. I think that plays a really big part in these games, and so I'm going to give it to them.
Yes, give me the home team in a hotly contested rivalry game. Kansas gets it done in their revamped facility. I know Kansas State's playing better right now. It's going to be close, but I like the Jayhawks.
All right, Jerem's going with the team that's starting to figure it out a little bit, even on the road. Jerem takes Kansas State. Game number 5, 2 teams with only one conference loss. Houston at Arizona State. Who wins, Eric?
Man, another tough one, and similar to a Baylor over Cincinnati, I kind of wanted to just pick Houston, but I just think Arizona State looked so good last week. With Levitt back and healthy, they're looking like the team that everyone expected them to be at the beginning of the year. That was no joke last week, so I'm going to go Arizona State.
I would love to pick Houston here and to see what this would do to the conference and make it that much more chaotic, but I just can't. I think Arizona State, they're a problem in the Big 12, and their schedule's not super tough down the stretch either. Give me the Sun Devils.
Yeah, as long as they have Sam Levitt, they are dangerous. Jerem will go with the trifecta, ASU for Jerem as well. All right, Game 6, Oklahoma State still looking for their first conference win since 2023 on the road at Texas Tech. I wonder if they'll pick it up there. Who wins, Eric?
I do think they'll still be looking for one next week. I'm going to go with Texas Tech on this one.
Yeah, that one does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is a 37.5-point favorite. 37.5 points against a conference opponent. What? Yeah, I think the Red Raiders win, and they cover.
Even without tortillas, Texas Tech is going to pick up the win. All right, finally, here we go. This is the big one. Number 11 BYU on the road at Iowa State. The Cougars are an underdog in this game. Why does BYU win this game? No, who's the pick? Who you got?
Well, I signed a contract coming on the show that I would pick one team in this segment. Listen, I do think that even with goggles on, I think BYU, or take the goggles off, I think BYU wins, right? Like I said from the beginning of the year, and I think a lot of people said this, right? Kind of like last year, if we could just find a way to win, right? Like for me, it was, can we win the first 4? They were winnable, so can we go win them, right? But then all of a sudden it turns to 5 and then 6. And then every week I find myself going, man, if they could just win one more, then I believe, right? I have fully belief mode, right? Like there's so much momentum, and momentum in college sports brings belief. And when there's belief, then you're even better than you actually are, right? So I just think we're playing the right way. We're finding ways to win. Bear looks phenomenal. As long as we stick to our guns, I think we're going to go get it done in Ames.
Oh, amen to all of that, Eric. Fantastic stuff. I know who signs my checks. I wear blue. I'm picking BYU. The Cougs seem to thrive in an underdog role. We gave you every reason to be concerned about this game and why Iowa State's going to be good. They're all valid. BYU's going to find a way.
Of course, everybody's picking the Cougars. Jerem going with BYU as well. All right, that's our Big 12 pick'em. Eric, nice job. We'll see how you do. Thanks for the insight. Thanks for joining us, and hope to see you tonight at the basketball game.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there we go. Eric Mika.